I'm the first one to do that. I bet you never knew that. Back like a tailbone. Who you got the tail on? If it ain't about me, about whole D, about face. If you ain't on higher, learn it. The soda in the pot and the fire, burn it.
This shit is so dope. You might wanna be my guest. This shit is so dope. You might wanna be my.
Let me first start this video by saying that you need to get this game. Terminator Resistance was a damn good game. It really blew me away. And even if you are not a Terminator fan and you haven't really played the Terminator games, there's really not a lot of good Terminator games out there, which kind of surprised me that I just came across this game, and I kind of know why, but we'll get to it in review, and hopefully my review can pull you fans of my channel and newcomers to try out this game if this went over your head. Terminator Resistance, man. Don't mind the background. That's Monster Hunter Wilds. Normally I show footages of the game that I'm currently talking about, but I just can't keep my... I can't get away from this game. Still play this. Okay, so anyway, Terminator Resistance is in 2019. Damn. This game is a few years old. Anyway, it's a first-person shooter game developed by Tyon and published by Reef Entertainment. The game's story takes place in Los Angeles, nearly 30 years after Judgment Day, and the players take the role of Jacob Rivers, a soldier from the Resistance led by John Connor against Skynet's robotic killing machines.
You're a Resistance soldier. Time to act like one.
This game has caught me off guard. Now, it's coming back to me now. I know why I have never gave this game any interest when it came out for such a long while. Because critics, reviewers, mainstream critics, mainstream journalists has talked about this game and literally dogged the crap out of this game to the point where it was a forgettable experience for me to even try out. And let's be fair here. I wasn't even like big onto YouTube back then. I was like going through another lifespan at that current time. And then let's be fair, my last Terminator game was Terminator Salvation. I wanted to get away from Terminator games, and by me being a huge fan of Terminator and follow the franchise all the way until the recent series and even a couple movies after that, I noticed that the flop was beginning to really go over its head of the creativity of the lore of this whole franchise. So when Terminator Resistance came out, it literally just was, I was like, okay, let me just leave this alone. But by me being a critic now, by me being a reviewer and a hardcore, honest, critique critic itself, I'm gonna go ahead and say this to you guys. Y'all need to throw all those criticisms from IGN and any other mainstream journalists out the window. First of all, by me being in a critic game for so long, I need to tell y'all this right now, and I need to give y'all a little bit of an educational game when it comes to gaining your information. Number one, I'm going to give y'all a few rules. Rule number one, if y'all are looking into things and y'all looking at footages and gameplay footages, that should kind of be enough to pique y'all interest. But I know that some games and certain entertainment, when they show trailers and certain footages, they don't show much, especially in this modern age of society, because certain projects is pushing away certain narratives of what makes you enjoy it to put messages in there. So I understand it's tough. So that's where critics and reviewers come in to see if it's really worth your money, which goes to rule number two. If it's a mainstream game, then looking at a mainstream critic can be one thing, but knowing what the game is about may differentiate your whole taste. When it comes to a game like this, you may want to look at a low-key reviewer or a low-key critic, because mainstream critics and mainstream reviewers like IGN, no, they're not as good as they used to be. By them dogging out this game and saying the game is this and the game is that, this game do have a couple of problems, but not the problems that they have been talking about. And the game came out fresh, so every game that comes out is going to have certain problems, certain bugs, certain difficulty standards. And the reason why I'm saying that to trust IGN is because majority of their games that they give a lot of good scores to are games that have that political message, that they push away certain entertainment to put in a certain message when it comes to a political standpoint or wokeism. That's another reason when it comes to rule number 3 or 4, whatever the fuck. Don't trust any reviewers that support that type of shit. Mainstream or not. I have left a lot of critics and a lot of reviewers alone because of this. Because critics and reviewers are not even talking about how good the game is. They're talking about how narrative the story is when it comes to the impactability of relating to how woke these characters is, how relatable the message is. We want to come here to play games. We want to come in to be entertained. We want to come in to forget everything that's going on in this corrupt reality so we can escape it, so we can enjoy ourselves in the dream spect of the screen that we are witnessing. And Terminator Resistance has done all this. No woke shit, no political shit. It's just a first-person game with a whole lot of destruction. And that's what blew me away, because not only that this game I really enjoyed, and I just couldn't put the fucking controller down, but I think this may be one of the best Terminator games out there. In fact, I think it is. I think this is the best Terminator game I've ever fucking played. And you guys need to check this out. This game is pretty freaking good. The game takes place pretty fast. You already in the middle of the whole war when it comes to the Resistance and Skynet's monsters. Well, the machines. Well, monsters, machines, whatever. And you play the role of Jacob Rivers, who is witnessing all his comrades and the civilians getting killed in front of him. So you have to hide and just try to make your way to certain points of the game just to see what the hell is going on and try to know more about Jacob Rivers' character. Now, I thought this was going to be one of these type of games where, by it being made by an indie company and an indie developer, I thought there was going to be lacking a lot of character detail, especially when it comes to Jacob Rivers being a new character to the franchise, and I thought that was going to be a major flaw. But no, you know a lot about Jacob Rivers' character to the point where you begin to have him grow into the whole interest into the game itself. When the game starts, you feel the whole aspect of the environment involving around him as he gets afraid when he feels vulnerable by not defending himself with these Terminators. There was times on the game where I had to hide from the Terminators and just get away from them, and I really felt vulnerable. Like I was literally scared playing this game. And that's the major power of the game too, is that by you playing the role of this new protagonist, they want to show you the fear aspects of the protagonist as well. When he when he becomes apprehended or even outnumbered by these enemies, or when the odds are stacked against you, or, and above all, knowing the environmental strategies of just how to survive in the times of the Terminator lore itself. This is something that I have to get praise for with these indie developers. And this is the reason why I like indie games too, is because they try to take a franchise and they begin to show how much they appreciate this franchise by giving us, the major fans, what we want. And I have never played a Terminator game that made me be afraid of the Terminators. When I see a Terminator, I want to kill it. But the game wants you to start off with the character feeling vulnerable, so you can relate to him as he's trying to survive and build his way up so he can defend himself by meeting other comrades and knowing more about him in the future standpoint of the whole project. And even though you have low resources, you have low varieties to survive in the beginning of the game, you still have good ways to maneuver around the whole entire game itself. Like, you can sneak past the Terminators when it comes to using like a goggle set that can see past walls, so you can, because it like these goggles detect only like unhuman life, like monsters or I keep saying monsters. I mean machines. Like it detects machines or any type of source of abnormal activity, such as robots flying in the sky or Skynet doing some maneuver checks when it comes to flying this big ass jet around or whatever. You gonna need these goggles a lot. And that's what I liked about this game, because it brought a lot of survivability of horror, because without these goggles, you would be screwed. There were times when I tried to run and tried to find where I was going, and I stepped on freaking bombs called the Silverfish, and I'm like, what the hell? There was traps all around, Terminators in every fucking corner. You can barely outrun the Terminator, because even though they walk, they're somehow quick on their fucking feet. And Their weapons, oh my god, their weapons, man. It really felt like I was really getting shot in real life. Like each time I got shot when I was exposed, it really took so much damage, and I was playing this game on normal. Jesus Christ, dude. So this game does great when it comes to the survivability of the horror standpoint of this game. Even though you have certain varieties of how to survive, which is the goggles, like I mentioned, you can pick locks and you can find certain containers that were, that has like a lot of materials for you to maneuver through the whole game, so you can craft and build certain weapons such as bombs and ammunition. They wanted this game to be in the whole standpoint of common sense and very strategic gameplay, which I have done from start to finish. Even though I was getting weapons and getting better gear, I was still playing this game smart. How is Jacob Rivers as a character? I like him. Jacob Rivers is not an asshole. He is not a wimp. He is not a coward. He is a character that knew the situation, so he tried to put himself in a predicament standpoint so he won't have to have people rely on him that much, to the point where he ended up being their downfall. Jacob Rivers' character was not a bad character at all. He was actually a normal character that did a lot of things when it comes to how people would appreciate him. Now, this is a choice-driven game, and you can be a dick, you can be a good guy, but I feel like in a game like this, when it comes to the survivability, and you are trying to be the leader of the resistance, how are you going to interact with these characters? And that's where the side characters comes in. You meet side characters as you play, survivors that helps you out, and I like them all. All these side characters is cool. You meet this black dude that's like a car mechanic, and he fixes cars, and he drives a bus full of civilians, and you need his help to help you transport you to another location. You meet this woman that is like a nurse, and you need to help her out so she can get materials and stuff like that. It's like this game has so many side characters, but not to the point where you lose track of sensitivity of the whole major plot itself, because all of them are linked to the main plot of the whole game. Especially a couple of female characters onto the game that really play a little major role on the whole entire franchise itself that I was not prepared for. You have love interests, and I did not think that they would do this. Now, each time you win these characters over, they begin to gain trust, to tell you certain things about them in their past, and you unlock other side missions so you could go across the city and gather certain information or certain materials for them as the whole game continues. And this game is open world too. That's another good plus for me as well. And even though I was scavenging and gathering so many things and just trying to do right for the side characters, the two characters that I ended up liking and I'm growing attached to was this girl. I forgot her name. I think her name was Jess or something like that, and another woman that was a leader, that was like part of the resistance team, that was like helping out John Connor. And you can choose which one to romance if you play your cards right. I chose the flavor of choice, Jess. And the reason why I chose her is because she was with me from start to finish. I had to help her out, and above all, she had I think it was like her little brother or little cousin, and I liked him too. He was a cool little kid. I thought this was going to be a kid that was going to get in the way of the whole project and try to drive plot by doing stupid shit. But no, this kid minded his own business. He wanted me to get a couple of materials for him so he can like be around the whole in the whole resistance hideout, so he can just kill time and stuff, and just kept him in line. So I was like, okay, cool. And I thought that was his I thought that was her daughter. I mean, her son. But when they really made it clear that saying that, oh no, this isn't my son, this is like my cousin or my nephew or something, I was like, okay, her pussy is a ruin. Which made me understand. I was like, okay, like they literally put that out there so gamers would understand, like, okay, like this. But I still wouldn't have minded though. I would have been even more intrigued of, okay, like whatever happened to the father? Like whatever happened to to her family and stuff like that. But you know more about her as the whole game continues when you begin to gain her trust. And when you gain the trust of your love interest, they actually give you a sex scene. And don't get it twisted. the sex scene isn't like blurred out and censored out a couple seconds and you're done. They really went Baldur's Gate 3 on this shit, and I'm like, what the hell? Now, to be fair, they don't show nudity. They do show, but not to the point where it's like uncensored. They give you the idea, but the idea was way too out there. I'm like, okay, like he is really like piping her down, and I'm like, God damn, Jacob, that's my man. That's my man. And then they try to be a little bit romantic with the whole Terminator song. Doon, 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 doon. And I'm like, dude, if it was me, man, she'll be screaming way more than that damn song. You would barely even get the damn music playing. But I get it. I get it. They put a lot of emphasis on the characters and the whole narration of the choreography to the game. So when something happens, you feel the impact of the choices that you make. That's essentially what I'm saying. And I had to be very careful of the choices that I made, because I did find out that if you make the wrong choice, the characters can die. Because by the end of the game, not to spoil it, but the last choice you make with these characters is the choice of them living or dying. And you have to be careful, because sometimes you think that you're making the right choice by making them do a certain thing, but it can cost them their lives, man. And I was like, oh no, I do not want these characters to die. I do not want these fucking characters to die, man. And that's what I liked about this game a lot too, is because you grow attached to Jacob, you grow attached to the side characters, you grow attached to the story, you grow attached to everything that this game has delivered to you, to the point where it really felt like I was not just playing a Terminator game, but witnessing a whole entire franchise of Terminator that I really wish that was canon. Because this game is literally based on Terminator, the first one, through Judgment Day. And they even show some Easter eggs from Judgment Day and the regular Terminator film that I really was like, oh, I remember that. Oh, they got that shit on there too. Oh my God. Now, frankly, everybody loved Terminator Judgment Day the most, but I think the first one will always be the favorite one to me, because it was like a fucking horror movie. You couldn't take Arnold Schwarzenegger down for shit, dude. That part when he was driving and trying to take down Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese, and then that part, man, when he was in that hotel room. Oh my God. Dude, I know Judgment Day was everybody's favorite. It was everybody's favorite, but I was more afraid watching the first one as a kid, and it really fucked me up. And this was after I watched Predator. After I've seen Predator, and I really thought Arnold Schwarzenegger was my hero until I seen Terminator. I was like, dude, nuh-uh, you're... I'm afraid of you now. Wrapping this game up, this game really had me on the heels from start to finish. And I love that, because by the end of the game, when you go deep into the resistance, you go deep into the lore of the whole story, things get thrown at you a lot. When you get stronger, when you gain more respect as Jacob's character, the Terminators begin to get more adept, more smarter, more agile, more deadly. So that means the more deadly the enemies, the more deadly the weapons, and the more hard the game is going to be. But they actually made it fair for you. You can get better weapons. You can craft better materials so your weapons can get stronger, like these little chips that you can get by stealing and obtaining the Terminator's weapons, such as their laser cannons and their other guns and stuff like that. And I always told myself, I wish I could use their fucking weapons, because their weapons hit so fucking hard. You can get them. You can use their weapons against them, and you can make them so much stronger. You can add so much perks to your guns, to the point where you can increase your fire rate. You can increase your clip size. You can increase the stability. Fuck all that. Increase the damage. Increase the damage. Especially the one that you use where it has like the red laser sight. Put that shit maxed out on the damage. You gotta find the ones that has 20% though. If you can find the ones that has 20%, or craft the one that has 20%, not craft, but just go to like a merchant that has that shit, you are golden at the end of the day. The game will be breezing at the end of the fucking day. They even have this game mode after you beat it called infiltration mode. This is for players that played a lot of the original game and you wonder what would be like if you played the Terminator. I played resistance mode. No, resistance. I played infiltrator mode. I love it. You just play as an undercover Terminator, killing the resistance and killing people that stand in your way, gathering intel to find a major target, to link yourself to John Connor so you can find his base. It's That oh my god, the infiltrator mode is so beautiful. They got another mode called, I think it's called Annihilation mode. I didn't play that mode yet. Play this. But this just shows you that this game is bursting with so much content. This game is cheap too. It's not 40, it's not 50, it's not 60. It's, dude, it is less than $25 on PSN. And they had a deal on it for $17. If y'all missed this deal, it's still worth the purchase price. It really is. Does that mean that this game is perfect? Not quite. See, not that these are flaws, right? These are little small gestures of kind of made me realize and made me ask, why didn't they just put this in the game? Like, for example, no multiplayer. No multiplayer. Y'all motherfuckers, like, why not? Y'all had multiplayer on Terminator Salvation, one of the worst Terminator games ever. Y'all couldn't do that. Y'all couldn't do that. Y'all couldn't do it. That would have been perfect if y'all would have done that. Me and my friends running around shooting Terminators and shit like that. It would have been beautiful if y'all would have done that shit. My other complaint is no New Game Plus mode. And I think New Game Plus will be perfect on this game. And I know people and journalists were saying that it's perfect the way it is because they want you to start fresh with no, fuck all that. And the reason why I'm saying that it will be perfect if it had New Game Plus because the way how the game ended. This is spoilers. So if y'all don't want to hear this point, then skip it to this time frame right here. Y'all still here? Y'all ain't rewinding it? Y'all not fast forwarding it? Okay. Well, by the end of the game, you meet John Connor. And with John Connor, you have to go through another clean sweep of taking down the rest of the Skynet's provisions that's trying to defend themselves. After you gather enough intel to really flip the tables on them. And when that happens, they reveal that John Connor has this time machine that can go back in time so you can clean up the things that you want to do, such as the choices you made in the previous runs, or at the same time, if you miss a couple things. So John Connor literally asks you if you want to start this over by you continuing off by doing the things that you fucked up on and clean that up, or you don't want to. That would have been a perfect time to do New Game Plus, to go back with the weapons you had and make the right choices with the people that you knew. Just in case if you wanted to make that love interest with another woman. Just in case if you want to make sure that no one stayed in the resistance camp before it got shot down. If they would have done this would have been an A+ rating. Multiplayer and New Game Plus. Overall, though, this game is a must own. It's a must purchase. You guys need to play Terminator Resistance. I haven't gotten this hooked on a game like this since Wuthering Waves. Before that, it was, man, you know what? No. I can't compare Wuthering Waves. What's my problem? I haven't played an RPG, first-person shooter game, and loved it this much since Cyberpunk. I was hooked on this game from start to finish. I bought this game like 3 times. I bought it once, the digital version because they had the sale. So my friends from my account can play it. And then I ended up buying a physical copy because I like the steelbook case itself. The steelbook case looks beautiful. It looks freaking good. And it comes with a few like cards and stuff like that or whatever. I'm not opening these because they're going to be worth some money. And then I bought the other game so my other friend can try it out too. So shout out to you, Jamari Clemens, if you're watching this review. This would push you into playing this game as well. I'm gonna have to give Terminator Resistance an A. I was thinking about giving this a B or a B minus, but those issues that I talked about was not flaws to put the game down, but it did really narrow down the experience that I would have to further enjoy the whole entire game project. But we'll see though, because even though this game is a few years old, they're done. they're done. Whew. Well, that's all I have to say for today. Please stay tuned for upcoming reviews and videos headed your way. This is your TCT here, signing out.